What it do? What it do? You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Most definitely hit that bell icon that will drop to my YouTube cheek. The like button. YouTube appreciate that. S.L.R Media TV will appreciate that. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, I need everybody to double back and go to my second YouTube channel, S.L.R Sports News TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment over there. Grow. It's very important that you hit the like button on both channels. Helps my channel grow, get more viewers, more subscribers, and pushes both of my channels further to the YouTube algorithm. And guess what? It's all free. All you have to do is just hit the thumbs up and keep moving. So that's what I want y'all to do. That's what I want everybody to do. The ones who watch the video, who views the video. Make sure you smash the like button and support the channel. Also, you like what I do, make sure you hit the Cash App. All information is pinned at the bottom of the ticker. We on the road to 4,000 subscribers on this channel. We on the road to 800 subscribers on the second channel. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my future subscribers. You see the title, The War in Memphis. Gotti versus Young Dolph. You know what we do. We break it down. We repackage it up accordingly as it go. And the Young Dolph trial is about to start up for Govan Hernandez, aka the Mastermind. We most definitely gonna do something on the Govan. We got some content on that too. So, we're gonna break this Memphis shit down. Plenty of content for the Memphis. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Rest in peace to Young Dolph, PRE, CMG, Big Jook. Yo, the whole Memphis. We're gonna break this shit down. Shit is crazy, man. As they say, it's crazy, man. We're gonna get into this Memphis shit. Let's get into it. We're gonna break this shit down, get into it early. You know what we do.
Yo Gotti and his CMG goons controlled things in Memphis for a long time, both in the streets and in the rap music world. But he was just never able to get one rapper to bow. Young Dolph.
Was there ever a point in time where like you like respected Gotti as an artist coming out of Memphis? Because obviously I know he keeps a lot of doors down for a lot of people in Memphis.
Never.
Dolph was just never afraid of Yo Gotti or his crew, and the beef that came from that became deadly. And even though Dolph tragically lost his life in the end, one thing remained clear. He was never scared.
Ho Gotti, you was a... I just got back to the city, they say you trying to put charges on me and put the police on me. You seen your little do all your talking. Talk for yourself, ass.
How it started. Most people know how the feud started. Yo Gotti tried to sign Young Dolph, Dolph turned him down, and from there, the tension escalated. But some believe it ran deeper, possibly stemming from Yo Gotti's long-standing issues with Gucci Mane. A video even surfaced of Young Dolph during a radio interview with Gucci, which led some to speculate that might have been the true spark that lit the fire.
Somebody's gonna hear this record, and they're gonna think that you're talking crap about Gotti and these other cats. And when
I said Gotti was cool until he turned into a buster.
Regardless of how it began, Dolph transformed into a relentless force against Yo Gotti and CMG. He never missed a moment to taunt them, and that level of defiance led to not one, but 3 brutal attempts on his life. First attempt. The first attempt happened in 2017 during CIAA weekend in Charlotte. Dolph's SUV was sprayed with over 100 bullets in broad daylight, just blocks from the arena where the basketball championship was taking place. It was chaos. Multiple cars were hit, and shell casings were scattered all over the scene.
This what happened. I'm standing up here. I seen him pull off right here. Yeah, pull off right here. Bro, a truck came from right here and pulled up and slammed on brake. Ain't like a movie, bro. Yeah.
There were even rumors that Dolph had already bulletproofed his truck before this happened, almost like he knew trouble was coming from Yo Gotti's camp. 3 men were arrested in connection with the shooting. Black Youngsta, one of CMG's biggest names, Frederick Black, and Antavius Gardner. They were all hit with multiple charges, including discharging a firearm into occupied property and conspiracy.
The police arrested 27-year-old Sammy Benson, 23-year-old Frederick Black, and 20-year-old Antavius Gardner. Each were charged with 6 counts of discharging a weapon into an occupied property and felony conspiracy.
Black youngster had previously threatened Dolph publicly, claiming he'd slap him, and was seen rolling through Dolph's neighborhood with his crew, armed and clearly looking for confrontation.
Where he at? Where he at? Where he at? Where you at, dog? See the lamb back? You see me? Down fake, cuz. Where you at, dog? Where you at? Where you at? We in Castaigne right now. We just left the store.
But when young Dolph was asked about the arrest, he barely flinched. He wasn't bothered. He stayed locked in on leveling up and shining harder in front of his enemies.
One thing that I know for sure, and I've been knowing this for a long time, you kill your haters with success.
Right after the shooting, he even performed his Yo Gotti diss track, Play With Yo B.
Hey, why you keep up doing on me?
He then doubled down, dropping 3 tracks inspired by the situation, 100 Shots, In Charlotte, and Bulletproof. Eventually, the charges against Black youngster were dropped. According to court documents, in this case, the only evidence tying the defendant to the offense is a suspect vehicle that was rented by the defendant. There is no evidence that the defendant was driving the vehicle during the offense or even an occupant of the vehicle at the time of the offense. Second attempt. But it wouldn't be long before the second attempt on young Dolph's life would come. Months later, outside the Lowe's Hotel in Hollywood, that one almost took him out. He got into a fight with 3 guys in the valet area, got knocked to the ground, and then someone pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times. He was rushed into surgery and survived, but it was clear that somebody really wanted him gone.
He was shot. Detectives say 3 men approached him right in front of Lowell's Hollywood Hotel today, where all 4 were guests. There was a fight. Young Dolph fell to the ground, and that's when one of the 3 suspects opened fire.
LAPD even named Yo Gotti as a person of interest based on witness statements. A man named Corey McClendon, one of Gotti's close associates, was arrested near the scene. Police even found a gold Escalade linked to the suspects not far away. But like before, charges didn't stick. McClendon got released, and no one's ever been officially charged for that shooting either. But even after coming that close to death, young Dolph didn't flinch. He wasn't shaken at all. In fact, people spotted him walking around solo not long after, like nothing happened. All he cared about was securing the bag and leveling up.
Things happen like you had happened to you. They have epiphanies. They have like life-changing moments. Just want to ask, has your worldview changed at all after what's happened to you?
Not really.
Final attempt. And then there was the actual murder of young Dolph, arguably the most tragic chapter in this whole saga. It happened in broad daylight, right in his hometown of Memphis. Dolph had pulled up to Makita's Homemade Cookies, a spot he was known to frequent and support often. That's when it all went down. 2 masked gunmen ambushed him outside the shop and shot him multiple times before speeding off in a getaway car. The whole thing was caught on surveillance footage, and just like that, Memphis lost one of its most respected voices. What followed was a manhunt that gripped the entire city. Eventually, police arrested 23-year-old Justin Johnson, better known as Straight Drop, and 32-year-old Cornelius Smith. They were both charged with Dolph's murder. But then came a third name, Hernandez Govan, 43 years old, who prosecutors believe was the one who actually orchestrated the entire hit. The trial.
Govan asked for young Dolph to be murdered.
Mr. Govan has been indicted and is in custody for being involved in the young Dolph. He played the role of the person who solicited.
Now fast forward to September 2024 during the trial, and that's when things really took a turn. Cornelius Smith flipped. He got up on that stand and decided to tell it all. First, he dropped a shocking statement. He said he didn't know who young Dolph was when they killed him, said it was all about the money. Even crazier was that day, November 17th, 2021, was his daughter's birthday. Instead of being with her, he was out chasing a promise of fast cash, caught up in a plot that would end someone else's life and ultimately ruin his own. In court, Cornelius identified himself and Justin in the surveillance footage from the scene. When they asked him how many times he shot Dolph, he couldn't even answer clearly, said he wasn't even thinking straight. All he had on his mind was the payday they were promised. That's when the courtroom heard the bombshell. Cornelius testified that it was Big Juke, Yo Gotti's older brother and a powerful figure in CMG, who put the bounty on Dolph's head, $100,000. That was the number.
Big Juke had a hit on Dolph's head or whatnot, so...
How do you know that Big Juke had a hit on Dolph's head?
Cause Quick had told me about it.
How much money was it supposed to be?
$100,000 on Dolph's head.
And had you agreed to do this hit?
Yes, sir.
And that's where Hernandez Govan came in. According to Cornelius, Hernandez was the one who pulled the strings. He was connected to CMG and acted as the middleman. He used Justin and Cornelius like pawns. Justin, who was chasing clout and wanted to blow up in the rap game, thought this would earn him stripes with the CMG. And Cornelius, who was down bad and addicted to drugs, just needed the money. Hernandez knew exactly how to manipulate them both. The timing of the murder wasn't random either. Dolph was in Memphis for his annual turkey giveaway, something he did every year to give back to his community, but instead of being recognized for his generosity, Dolph became a target. The killer spotted his custom camo-wrapped Corvette as he was moving through town and followed him. They waited until he stopped at Makita's Cookies to strike. But the story didn't end with a shooting. After the murder, Justin Johnson allegedly FaceTimed Big Juke and spelled out Dolph's name in sign language to let him know it was done. Cornelius testified that Big Juke responded by saying they'd link up soon and that the payment would come through. The plan was for Hernandez to get $20,000 for arranging the hit and for Justin and Cornelius to each walk away with $40,000. That would have totaled $100K, but reality didn't match the plan.
Me and him supposed to be giving Quit $10,000 apiece.
All right, so you and him are going to give Govan $10,000 apiece?
Yeah.
And how much are you going to get?
I was getting 40, he was getting 40.
Cornelius says he only got $800. That's it, $800 for taking out a hometown legend and father of two. His life spiraled even further after that. Once he got arrested, he claimed that Big Juke covered his lawyer's fee, dropping $50,000 on the defense. But as for the promised payment, it never came. Later on, another CMG-connected individual allegedly dropped another $50K on a lawyer. Cornelius was already too deep in the hole. Meanwhile, everyone involved started falling like dominoes. Justin's brother, Jamarcus Johnson, ended up being the fourth person charged in connection to the case. His role was helping Justin escape after the murder. He pled guilty to 3 counts of accessory after the fact and now faces 6 to 12 years behind bars. Justin was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. Following the guilty verdict, he was immediately sentenced to life in prison for the murder charge.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder.
Then his attorneys filed a motion asking the court to vacate the sentence and grant him a new trial. The motion argued that the evidence presented wasn't strong enough to prove first-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt. It also claimed the court made errors by allowing gruesome crime scene and autopsy photos into evidence and by denying Johnson's requests to sit at the counsel table during trial. But still, things only got worse for him. Johnson was later handed a 35-year sentence for the conspiracy charge and another 15 years for being a felon in possession of a firearm, stacking up to 50 additional years on top of his life sentence. Though 2 of those sentences will run concurrently, the message is clear. He's not getting out. And Cornelius didn't get a pass either. The prosecutors made it clear, just because he's talking doesn't mean he's walking. He's still going to prison, maybe not for life, but he's not going home anytime soon. One of the most heartbreaking parts of this whole thing was when Cornelius recalled his daughter's birthday. The prosecutor asked him point blank, "You went and killed a man on your daughter's birthday?" Cornelius replied, "I was trying to make it rain for her. I wanted to make it a beautiful day for her." That moment changed everything. Instead of being a father to his 5 kids, Cornelius ended up killing a father, a husband, a community figure, for a check that never came. Big Juke. Fast forward to what many saw as the inevitable fallout from young Dolph's murder, Yo Gotti ended up feeling that retaliation in a way nobody could have predicted. And it hit him where it hurts the most, his family. There had been whispers for a while that something might come back around, that the streets hadn't forgotten. And sure enough, it did. They didn't just come for Gotti's crew or the label, they reportedly came after his mother. Word is, she was targeted in a move that shook everyone who heard about it. Thankfully, she managed to escape unharmed, but the close call was already a major wake-up call. Still, it didn't stop there. The one who paid the ultimate price was Yo Gotti's older brother, Big Juke. Big Juke was in a funeral, but in the streets, there's no such thing as sacred ground. When you're in that world, not even a funeral offers protection. If it's your time, it's your time. So here's what happened. Both Yo Gotti and Big Juke were attending a service for their family member, OG Eric Bolden. There's actual footage floating online, shared by YouTube journalist Seti Nash, showing them standing right there by the casket. On the surface, it looked like 2 brothers mourning someone they cared about. But in the back of the church, 2 men could be seen quietly posted up, watching. No one knew it at the time, but those two were reportedly waiting, studying Juke. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Yo Gotti didn't go to the repass, but if he had shown up, there's a good chance the situation might have gone completely left. Instead, Big Juke went solo, rolling up to Perignon's restaurant and event center on Winchester Road. That's where they got him. He was just getting into his car when it happened. Some folks say Gotti's mother was in the vehicle with him, which, if true, makes that even more twisted. The shooters didn't care. They pulled up and lit the car up. Gunfire rang out and the car was riddled with bullets. Gotti's mom managed to get away somehow, but Big Juke caught the brunt of it. He was rushed to the hospital, but the damage had already been done. He didn't make it. Surveillance cameras later picked up a white SUV fleeing the scene, no license plates, clean getaway. And the message was loud and clear.
Tonight, police are looking for a white Ford Explorer SUV in connection with the shooting. It has dark tinted windows and black wheels. A witness told police they saw suspects in the SUV speeding away.
Everyone knew why this happened. It wasn't random. This was a direct response, a long brewing act of vengeance that had been waiting for the right time and place. Young Dolph versus Yo Gotti. So how exactly did the beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph really begin? Well, if you ask Yo Gotti, he'll tell you he's just as confused as everyone else. In multiple interviews over the years, Gotti has maintained that he never had any bad blood with Dolph and was genuinely supportive of his movement. He even pulled up a text message he sent to Dolph back in August 2012, where he was showing nothing but love, encouragement, and respect. According to Gotti, the only thing he can guess that might have sparked any tension was the fact that he didn't hop on a song with Dolph when asked. Other than that, he claimed he's just as confused as the public about why things spiraled the way they did. From his perspective, there was no real animosity, at least not from his side.
I'm the biggest rapper from Memphis. You know what I mean? I help a lot of rappers from Memphis. He was trying to get a verse or something from me, you know. I don't know if I, probably didn't do that. I never done the verse.
But if you turn the mic over to Young Dolph, his version of the story paints a whole different picture. Dolph said that around 2012, when he started to gain serious traction in Memphis and getting love beyond just the city limits, Yo Gotti reached out and offered him a deal with his label, CMG, Cocaine Music Group. Now at that point, Gotti was already a household name, both in Memphis and nationally, and signing with him would have been a major move for any up-and-coming artist. But Dolph turned it down. According to him, that's when things started to get tense. But it wasn't just the offer, it was the way the offer was presented that rubbed Dolph the wrong way. He said that Gotti basically dissed his own artists in the pitch, claiming they weren't really that good, that they constantly needed help, and that Dolph was different. Gotti reportedly told him something along the lines of, "You don't need all that, you can be a superstar with me." Dolph didn't like that at all. To him, it sounded like Gotti was throwing his own team under the bus just to lure him in. And that kind of energy, Dolph wasn't feeling it. He didn't like the politics or the disrespect. It made him not want to do business with Gotti at all.
You got your own everything, bro. You popping. You like, bro, you got the money, you got your team, you got this, you got that. You like, bro, I'm telling you, we can do this, we can do that. It's cool, but it's my first time meeting you. You gonna really sit and downplay your artists and throw your artists up on the bus to try to persuade me in to come over there? No, it's just, I can't respect that.
But then there's another layer to this whole situation. Dolph also claimed that he had a relationship with Yo Gotti's baby mama. And when Gotti found out about it, that's when the real beef supposedly ignited. Dolph didn't go too deep into the details, but he said the proof was in the artwork for his infamous diss track, Play With Yo B. The cover featured a phone screen filled with missed calls, allegedly from Gotti's baby mama, calling Dolph. Now let's take it back for some context. In 2010, Yo Gotti was really starting to rise in the mainstream game. His track 5 Star, which featured Gucci Mane, Trina, and Nicki Minaj, was charting and getting major attention. Memphis had a new star on the rise, and Gotti was repping the city hard. Meanwhile, Dolph was just stepping into the scene. He had just dropped his second mixtape, Welcome to Dolph World, and was beginning to get recognized, especially by Atlanta heavyweights like Gucci Mane, 2 Chainz, and OJ the Juice Man. He wasn't a superstar yet, but the buzz was definitely building. By 2012, the dynamics had shifted. Yo Gotti was now a solidified name in the industry, but Dolph wasn't far behind. He was becoming a real force, and Gotti noticed that. That's when he reached out to Dolph to do a community show in Memphis focused on uplifting the youth. There's actual footage of that event where Gotti and Dolph were on stage together. It's the only known footage of the two performing together, and at that moment, it looked like they were cool. Maybe even allies.
Yeah. Shout out to my
Young Dolph in this motherfucker. Can't stay you what's happening.
That show happened around August 2012, the same time Gotti allegedly made his pitch to sign Dolph to CMG. According to Gotti, August 24th, 2012 was the last time he and Dolph ever spoke. After that, there's no public record of any other conversations or collaborations between the two. Outwardly, it seemed like everything was still good, but behind the scenes, things were already beginning to shift. Subliminal shots were exchanged, and behind the scenes, things got uglier and uglier. Eventually, the beef turned deadly. Multiple attempts were made on Dolph's life, and it all ended in tragedy with his murder. Now fans are talking louder than ever. With everything that's come to light, people are saying a RICO case against Yo Gotti and CMG doesn't just seem possible, it's starting to feel inevitable. The signs have been there for a while and the streets are buzzing. At this point, folks are saying it's not if the feds show up, it's when.
Will Yo Gotti be arrested for the murder of Young Dolph? If that happens, that would be the biggest hit in Memphis and rap history. For sure. And Gotti got to be thinking. Gotta be thinking. Yo, could it be? We gotta get this on my brother Jook. But the Fedos in Memphis, man, they want Dolph. Now they don't want Dolph, they want Gotti. That'll be a big blow to hip hop. Will Hernandez Govan put it all on Yo Gotti? If Yo Gotti get hit or get charged, we know where it came from.
The music industry is a tough place to be in. I mean, just dealing with fans, labels, and the overnight loss of privacy is already a lot to deal with. Now, if you're a rapper coming from the hood, then the heat is just turned to like 1,000 degrees. You're fighting everybody, and you could end up losing much, much more than privacy.
Breaking news overnight, Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle shot and killed.
Rapper Takeoff, best known for being a member of the Grammy award-winning group Migos, has died.
Deerfield Beach, the rapper XXX Tentacion has been shot.
In the case of Young Dolph, everyone saw it coming. He had a rival, Yo Gotti, who was really scared of him, and most people agreed that it was because Dolph would claim the title of King of Memphis through sheer creativity and being independent.
Every last one of them put together like you can't compete.
The music business. Not everyone wants to say it, but the elephant in the room concerning the beef between Dolph and Gotti was the stark contrast in their ideas of how the music business should go. It started years ago when Dolph claimed Yo Gotti had wanted to sign him. Let me explain what record labels are and how they function so you can appreciate the pure artistry of Dolph if you didn't already. Record labels, the homes of musical talents, are highly esteemed institutions akin to sports clubs. Musicians strive to make it onto a label, viewing it as the pinnacle of their careers. However, the journey only becomes more intense and daunting from there. The reverence for record labels stems from their multifaceted support network for artists. With marketing teams, press teams, radio pluggers, and more, they provide a robust team to aid artists in areas they might not excel in, such as business and marketing. The A&R, artists and repertoire representatives, are key figures in the label ecosystem. These individuals scour platforms like TikTok and Instagram in search of the next viral sensation, replacing the old days of scouting talent in nightclubs and talent shows. There are distinctions between major labels and indie labels. Major labels cater to artists with the potential to draw massive attention on social media, while indie labels focus on acts at the forefront of style and genre. Indie labels may lack the resources of major labels, but they can be a more realistic starting point for artists without a large following or famous name. To secure a deal with a major label, artists must amass a significant social media following, often employing social media managers for assistance. A&R reps seek acts that encompass the complete package, evaluating factors like followers on Instagram and TikTok, content engagement, relatability, talent, and humor. Viral sensations like Bella Poarch are examples of the route to major label success. On the other hand, getting signed to an indie label involves a different approach. Acts with a few thousand followers can attract the attention of indie labels. Staying true to a specific subgenre and embracing underground scenes can be crucial for indie success. Connecting with underground blogs, Spotify playlists, DIY underground shows can help spread the word organically. The indie world offers ample growth opportunities, provided artists maintain maintain their artistic integrity and avoid selling out. Indie labels like Jajaguar, 4AD, Anti, and None Such are prominent players, supporting acts that stay authentic and committed to their craft. However, not everything that shines is necessarily valuable. If you take a closer look at how record labels operate, you'll uncover some toxic truths hidden beneath the glamorous lives artists showcase once they sign with these labels. It's these toxic aspects that explain why certain artists like Young Dolph opt to pursue their music independently. There was a time when record labels and artists had a mutually beneficial relationship. At that time, 85% of profits from music releases would go to the label, and the artist retained 15%. This setup seemed reasonable, since artists had control over other revenue streams like touring and merchandise. Back then, a deal with one meant lifelong success. However, everything changed with the rise of streaming and file-sharing platforms. The introduction of Rhapsody in 2001 marked the beginning of a new era, leading to the emergence of popular platforms like Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. This shift had a profound impact on the music industry, causing album and CD sales to plummet and record labels to suffer significant losses. To adapt to this changing landscape, record labels introduced album advances and recoupable payments. Album advances became a prominent feature in the system, allowing labels to invest in artists to make their albums successful. This financial assistance covered recording equipment, writers, producers, and advertising, but it came at a cost. The apparent display of wealth by new artists with flashy cars and expensive clothes in their music videos was often funded by the record label. While this helped attract fans and generate income, the money spent was considered a recoupable payout. Consequently, artists had to repay this amount to the label, usually from their 15% share of profits. This system sometimes puts artists in big debt to the record label even before they become famous. For example, an artist gets an album advance of $200,000. If the artist makes $1 million from their first album, they might end up 15%, which is $150,000. But remember, they still owe the label $200,000, which will be paid from their 15%. This could still leave them with a debt of $50,000, considering the money they owe from the advance they got. So it can be tough for them to make a lot of money even if their album does well. Moreover, the pressure to pay off these debts pushes artists into a cycle of continuously making albums. While some successful artists manage to recoup the money and turn a personal profit, many struggle to escape the burden of debt. As a result, some artists found themselves trapped in a relentless cycle of producing music solely to repay their debts to the record label. This pressure to meet financial obligations often overshadowed artistic expression and creative freedom, leading to potentially detrimental effects on an artist's career and well-being. Big record labels like Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, and Sony BMG often act like venture capitalists. They sign contracts with lots of artists, hoping one of them will become a huge success, like Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift. But here's the harsh reality. Most artists signed by these labels don't make it big. They end up in debt to the label, struggling to pay back the money they received as an advance. The labels keep pushing their top earners to make up for these losses. Record labels can be pretty ruthless. They drop artists at the slightest hint of less than perfect success. They focus on promoting some artists while ignoring others. Only a small fraction of artists who get signed by major labels actually stay with them for long. One reason for this mess is the number of people involved in making a song. The labels want to play it safe, so they control the creative process and market what they think will sell best. This means the artists often lose control over their own music. Some labels even take ownership of the final product, including future earnings, leaving the artist with little say. But some artists choose not to get entangled with big record labels in the first place, even when huge deals are on the table. King of Memphis, Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., known as Young Dolph, was an American rapper who made a mark in the music industry. In 2016, he released his debut album, King of Memphis, which reached number 49 on the Billboard 200 chart. He gained further popularity with his feature on OT Genesis's hit single Cut It, which reached number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. Young Dolph's fifth album, Rich Slave, released in 2020, became his most successful project, debuting at number 4 on the Billboard 200. Young Dolph's early life was marked by challenges. He was born on July 27, 1985 in Chicago, Illinois, and his family moved to Memphis, Tennessee when he was just 2 years old. Raised mostly by his grandmother, Ida Mae, he faced the struggles of having parents with drug addiction. Despite the difficult circumstances, he found strength and wisdom in his grandmother's teachings, which influenced his independence and determination. Young Dolph's journey in music began in 2008 when he released his first mixtape, Paper Route Campaign. Encouraged by its local success, he fully embraced his passion for rap and established his own independent independent record label called Paper Route Empire in 2010. Over the years, he honed his unique rap style, distinguishing himself with a captivating voice and magnetic delivery. His collaborations and connection with Atlanta trap rapper Gucci Mane added to his growing popularity. Young Dolph released several mixtapes, including East Atlanta Memphis and Trappin' Out a Mansion, which featured other notable artists. His mixtape American Gangster received significant recognition, especially for the song Preach. Young Dolph's talent and hard work earned him a prominent place in the rap scene, and he continued to make an impact with his music until his unfortunate passing on November 17, 2021. Young Dolph was more than just a rapper. He had a strong bond with his hometown, Memphis, and his generosity made him a beloved figure in the city. Despite his success, he never forgot where he came from and always gave back to the community that supported him. From donating $25,000 to his old high school to regularly handing out hundreds of turkeys during giveaways, Young Dolph showed immense care for the people who looked up to him. He grew up in South Memphis, facing the challenges of poverty, but his music connected with the locals like no other. He embodied the city's essence and provided advice through his songs like a wise, streetwise uncle. Young Dolph's success didn't change him. He remained down to earth and connected with his roots. He credited Memphis for his achievements and believed in the importance of family and support. Even beyond Memphis, he showed generosity, gifting money and extravagant prizes to fans, and even supporting the baristas from Duke University who were fired for playing Dolph's song on the clock. In the music industry, Young Dolph carved a path for himself as an independent artist. He believed in hard work and talent, and his success proved his point. He considered himself the spokesperson for those in the streets and independent artists, proving that you can make it big without compromising on your values. Before his untimely passing, Young Dolph had achieved everything he set out to do. He even contemplated retirement, but couldn't walk away from his passion and purpose. He left a legacy of giving back, being true to himself, and proving that success can be achieved through hard work and dedication. Deep within his label of Paper Route Empire, Young Dolph stood as a true master of self-marketing. As an independent artist, he seized the reins of his own destiny, tirelessly promoting his music in neighborhood clubs, befriending local DJs, and even enlisting renowned ones for hosting duties and securing impressive collaborations. No record label could comprehend the intricate connection he held with the very streets he grew up on. Time and again, he substantiated this fact, releasing a staggering 7 albums, including 2 dynamic collaborations with his cousin Key Glock, 19 mixtapes, and an awe-inspiring Paper Route Empire compilation album. While Dolph's music often oozed braggadocio, it wasn't what made him unique. Woven into his lyrics were conversations with his parent, infusing his boasts with a genuine warmth that came from lived experiences. Amidst artists who resort to cliches, Dolph's unique sense of humor always set him apart. Young Dolph also possessed a profound ability for introspection that was ingrained in his very being. In an interview, Dolph unapologetically revealed his preference for solitude, acknowledging that he thrived in the tranquility of his own company. Despite his role as an entertainer, he cherished moments of seclusion. It was during these periods of introspection that he was at his creative best, conceiving and honing his craft with remarkable prowess. Being alone provided him the space and clarity to develop his ideas, resulting in superior outcomes across various aspects of his life, including financial success. Reflecting on life's fragility, he penned the heart-wrenching track While You Here, emphasizing the importance of expressing love while you still can. His awareness of the influence he had on his children and nephews hit hard in lyrics like, "Everything that I do, I got a son watching now, I got nephews and lil cousins that look up to me," amidst his fun-loving street anthems. Throughout his career, Dolph amassed a roster of collaborators that read like a who's who of mainstream and underground Southern rap royalty, but his appeal transcended regional boundaries, earning him fans and partners all across the nation. His mainstream presence remained true to his terms. Dolph propelled OT Genesis's Cut It into a double platinum top 40 hit, showcasing his ability to deliver show-stealing verses. Even when working with A-list producers like Mike Will and Metro Boomin, he maintained creative control, never chasing trends. Despite his larger-than-life image, Dolph's writing made him relatable to all. During the pandemic, he lightened the mood by photoshopping masks onto his album covers, providing a much-needed moment of levity. In his track Sunshine, he exhibited remarkable insight, expressing the benefits of taking time off during the pandemic and showing empathy for frontline workers. Dolph's music resonated deeply, touching on the spirit of the blues, imbued with a powerful sense of empathy. He candidly spoke about his parents' struggles with addiction, but harbored no grudges. As his writing evolved, he defied stereotypes, becoming a street rapper with a steadily growing audience and an abundance of meaningful messages to convey. With Paper Route Empire, Dolph nurtured local talent for the long long term. Already he had propelled Key Glock to local stardom, releasing cherished collaboration albums and generating major hits. His support extended to signees like Jay Fizzle and Big Moochie Great, elevating their profiles. Dolph never saw himself as an impossible act to follow. He provided a blueprint for all to heed. Though he reached the pinnacle of success on his own, he readily extended a helping hand to others. Full-blown war. The rap scene in Memphis had been dominated by Yo Gotti, who gained national fame with hit singles like I Know and the smash hit Down in the DM. Not only has Yo Gotti risen in popularity, but he has also established his own empire through his CMG imprint, which houses talented artists like Snooty Wild and Black Youngstar from Memphis. However, amidst Yo Gotti's reign, a formidable contender emerged in the form of Young Dolph. In 2008, Young Dolph founded Paper Route Empire, and it wasn't long before he began making waves with his high-class street music mixtape series. Collaborative projects with heavyweights like Gucci Mane and Pee Wee Longway further cemented his growing presence in the rap game. By 2015, Young Dolph's buzz and fan base had soared, putting him in direct competition with Yo Gotti and eventually leading to a tense rivalry. The beef between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti reached its peak in 2016, with both artists engaging in a public feud, each firing shots at the other through their music and social media. Young Dolph, known for his candid approach, openly expressed his grievances towards Yo Gotti, particularly referencing the time when he declined Yo Gotti's offer to sign a record deal with CMG. According to Dolph, Gotti took offense to his decision, laying the foundation for their ongoing animosity. One significant moment in the escalating conflict was when Young Dolph announced that his debut album would be titled King of Memphis. This move caught the attention of many, as Yo Gotti had long claimed the title for himself. Although Gotti remained silent on the matter, the Memphis rap community interpreted Dolph's album title as a direct challenge to Gotti's claim to the throne. Despite the tension, Young Dolph attempted to downplay the feud during a radio show appearance in February 2016. He acknowledged Yo Gotti's early support in his career and clarified that his album title wasn't meant as a diss, but rather reflected the mindset of himself and his crew, considering themselves kings in their own right. However, the tension escalated further when Yo Gotti's CMG artist Black Youngstar publicly insulted Young Dolph in a video posted on Instagram. Black Youngstar questioned Dolph's claim as the king of Memphis and resorted to offensive language and threats, making it evident that the animosity between the two camps was indeed genuine. March 2nd, 2016 marked a significant escalation in the feud between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti as Black Youngstar showed up in Young Dolph's neighborhood in Memphis. Accompanied by a group of his associates, Black Youngstar was armed with heavy weaponry as they roamed through South Memphis's Castelia neighborhood, apparently on the lookout for Young Dolph.
What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now?
While the two parties did not cross paths during this encounter, the incident made it evident that the animosity between them ran much deeper than just a war of words on social media and in their music. On March 12, 2016, Yo Gotti addressed Black Youngstar's involvement in the beef during an interview with Tim Westwood. Despite the speculations that Gotti might have instigated the situation, the CMG boss denied responsibility for Youngstar's actions, stating that he sees himself as a big brother figure to the young artist and advised him against handling matters with aggression and threats. While Young Dolph had mostly taken the high road in the feud, his patience wore thin by March 16, 2016. Through a series of posts on his Instagram account, Dolph openly retaliated against Yo Gotti, accusing him of harboring resentment towards Memphis rap legends like 3-6 Mafia and 8 Ball and MJG. He also claimed that Gotti sent Black Youngstar to fight his battles and even called the police on him. Dolph made it clear that he had no intentions of ever signing with Gotti, and he further reminded him of his falling out with Gucci Mane, implying that Gotti's anger towards him was rooted in his continued association with Gucci. In response to Dolph's scathing remarks, Black Youngstar wasted no time and released a diss track titled Shake Sum on March 17, 2016. In the song, Youngstar discredited Young Dolph's connections to Memphis and challenged his claim of being the king of the city. He used harsh lyrics to assert his loyalty to Gotti and questioned Dolph's authenticity and credibility as an artist from Memphis. Months after arguing with Young Dolph, Black Youngstar declared the feud to be over in an interview on September 9, 2016. Youngstar put a stop to the rivalry by revealing that Yo Gotti genuinely liked Young Dolph despite their conflict, but Dolph refused to accept that it was resolved, leaving room for more conflict. Young Dolph exploded with his diss track Play With Your which was directed at Yo Gotti, along with scathing generalizations like I don't know no gangsters that beef with dykes and references to having relationships with Gotti's child's mother. Dolph cast his adversary as a hater by rhyming, "You came up rapping dissing 3-6 Mafia." Many people were interested in seeing Yo Gotti's response to Young Dolph's nasty diss track, but Yo Gotti chose to take the high road by remaining silent about his fight with him. Shortly after the song's release, Yo Gotti would post on social media, bragging about his collaborations with A-listers like Jay-Z and L.A. Reid. This was his way of subtly alluding alluding to being unbothered and unconcerned with his counterpart's words. After Black Youngstar publicly resolved the long-standing feud between himself, Yo Gotti, and Young Dolph, many were surprised when Young Dolph decided to release a diss track, reigniting the animosity. However, Young Dolph clarified his actions and motivations during an appearance on DJ Holiday's radio show on February 9, 2017. Regarding Yo Gotti's mixtapes, Young Dolph pointed out that they contained subtle disses aimed at him. Feeling that Yo Gotti was playing games, Young Dolph asserted that he wouldn't stoop to Yo Gotti's level. Instead, he opted to take a different approach, shedding light on the truth. Young Dolph was determined to expose the facts one after another, leaving Yo Gotti unsure of how to respond, as there seemed to be no valid retort to the undeniable truth. Cocaine Music 9, White Friday, and Gotti's studio album, The Art of Hustle, were the mixtapes Dolph was referring to. The latter outsold Dolph's King of Memphis album, which was released on the same day. On the 11th of February 2017, the hip-hop world was shaken as Yo Gotti's long silence on the brewing tension with Young Dolph came to an end. In an assertive move, he unleashed his diss track titled Don't Beef With Me, but skillfully avoided direct confrontation by opting was referring to. The latter outsold Dolph's King of Memphis album, which was released on the same day. On the 11th of February 2017, the hip-hop world was shaken as Yo Gotti's long silence on the brewing tension with Young Dolph came to an end. In an assertive move, he unleashed his diss track titled Don't Beef With Me, but skillfully avoided direct confrontation by opting for a subliminal approach. Teaming up with CMG artists Moneybagg Yo and Black Youngstar, the track served as a warning shot rather than an outright attack. Not one to back down, Young Dolph retaliated on February 24, 2017 with the release of his Play With Yo music video. The video humorously parodied Yo Gotti, leaving no room for remorse. Dolph went all in, using a Gotti lookalike in the video, making it clear that the feud had escalated to new heights. The feud took a dangerous turn on February 25, 2017, when news spread that Young Dolph was targeted in a shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina. Over 100 rounds were fired at his vehicle, but thankfully, Dolph emerged unscathed thanks to his bulletproof SUV. Unfazed by the incident, he fearlessly took to the stage later that night, performing his Yo Gotti diss track, Play With Your. The message was clear. He wasn't backing down. However, by March 7, 2017, Young Dolph seemed to have a change of heart. He declared the feud with Yo Gotti as old news during an interview, shifting his focus toward the future rather than dwelling on the past. The beef appeared to have been temporarily put to rest. Just when it seemed the feud might simmer down, tragedy struck. On September 26, 2017, Young Dolph fell victim to yet another shooting, this time in Hollywood. Rushed to the hospital, details surrounding the incident were scarce. Speculations arose as Yo Gotti was named a person of interest by the LAPD due to an altercation between their entourages escalating into gunfire. However, a day later, the LAPD clarified that Yo Gotti was not a person of interest in the shooting, dismissing the initial reports. Instead, an associate of Yo Gotti, Corey McClendon, was charged with attempted murder in connection to the incident. McClendon's arrest raised questions about the involvement of others in the fight with Young Dolph and their potential ties to the shooting. As investigations continued, Corey McClendon was surprisingly released without charges on September 28, 2017. Despite the lack of arrests, the tension between the two rappers was palpable, leaving fans and the general public on edge, wondering if this feud would ever truly be resolved. King's dead. On November 17, 2021, tragedy would strike one more time as Young Dolph met his untimely end at Makeda's homemade butter cookies on Airways Boulevard. The noon hour turned into a nightmare as gunmen stormed the shop and fatally shot Dolph. The Memphis Police Department circulated photos of the suspects, showing them wielding guns. With swift and merciless action, the assailants opened fire upon the store, killing Dolph in the process. The autopsy report revealed that Dolph had suffered approximately 22 gunshot wounds to his head, back, chin, neck, and both arms. This shocking loss left the general public questioning the motives and seeking justice for the young artist. In the wake of Dolph's death, the wheels of justice began to turn. A year later, 3 men were charged in connection with his killing. Among them was Hernandez Govan, who was arrested on November 10, 2022, as a suspect believed to have orchestrated the murder. The authorities vowed to bring closure to this heinous crime. Additionally, Justin Johnson, another suspect in Dolph's shooting death, was apprehended on January 11, 2022, in Indiana by the U.S. Marshals Service. Furthermore, Cornelius Cornelia Smith, who was arrested on December 9, 2021, faced charges related to the theft of the white Mercedes seen in the surveillance footage from the day of the shooting. As the legal proceedings unfolded, Govan faced charges of first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Johnson and Smith, too, found themselves indicted on the conspiracy charge along with the other grave charges. Dolph's murder had occurred at Makeda's homemade butter cookies. The aftermath left the store closed. However, the co-owners, Maurice and Pamela Hill, faced threats following the rapper's death, causing them to contemplate keeping the store shut indefinitely. But after much consideration and 10 long months, the couple made a bold decision to reopen the store on September 17, 2022. In the wake of Dolph's passing, memorials began to spring up around Memphis, paying tribute to the late artist. A Dolph mural, created by artist Cameron Hill, adorned a shopping center near the intersection of Elvis Presley Boulevard and Norris Road in South Memphis. This touching artwork, commissioned by the Ida Mae Family Foundation, was met with unfortunate vandalism and was ultimately canceled by Dolph's family. However, the memory of Dolph lives on with a mural proudly displayed at Castalia Heights on the corner of Castalia Street and Boyle Avenue, as well as a street renaming in his honor. What was once Dunn Avenue, between Airways Beovidios and Hayes Road, is now Adolph Young Dolph Thornton Jr. Avenue, a lasting testament to his impact on the city. Despite the loss, Young Dolph's legacy through Paper Route Empire continues. The label released Long Live Dolph, featuring an 8-track tribute, ensuring that Dolph's vision lives on through the work of talented artists like Big Moochie Grape, Kenny Muni, Jay Fizzle, Jotty Bad, Snoop Bands, Paper Route Woo, and Chitana. The label's CEO, Daddy-O, stands firm in his commitment to fulfilling Dolph's aspirations. The world also witnessed posthumous releases honoring Dolph's talent and influence. Paper Route Empire released Hall of Fame on what would have been his 37th birthday. The song came with a poignant music visualizer depicting a car adorned with a dolphin symbol racing through the streets of Memphis. The video showcased the street named after Dolph. Meanwhile, according to the Shelby County jail system, Hernandez Govan's bond was paid, resulting in his release on Thursday, May 11, 2023. In the ongoing case related to Young Dolph's tragic death, Govan, the alleged mastermind behind the murder, had his bond set at $90,000. Although Govan was not present in court, the judge, Lee Coffey, decided that his appearance was unnecessary. Should the bond be posted, Govan will be subjected to house arrest, with limited exceptions for medical reasons or meetings with his lawyer. The reason for the relatively low bond remains unclear, but District Attorney Steve Mulroy revealed that Young Dolph's family consented to the amount, and the court did not dispute their decision. The family acknowledged the district attorney's actions and approved the course taken. Govan has been accused of soliciting the murder of the rapper Young Dolph in 2021. However, new details came to light, leading to a reevaluation of the situation. The district attorney explained that the information about Govan's role and medical conditions played a significant role in reaching this resolution, all with the goal of achieving justice in the case. Previously, Govan's attorney stated that he was experiencing health issues including blood pressure problems, chest pains, and tingling in the arm. Now, with a new attorney, Manny Aurora, who has been meticulously reviewing extensive evidence alongside Tennessee licensed lawyer Handel Durham Jr., the defense recorded progress in the case. Aurora emphasized that having local counsel like Durham is essential, and they have been diligently examining the discovery materials. He expressed satisfaction with their current position in the case. The court cited safety and medical concerns as reasons for considering Govan's release on bond. The next court date for Hernandez Govan was set for Thursday, July 13, 2023, when he pleaded not guilty to the charges. The other suspects, Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith, will go on trial on March 11, 2024. Jamarcus Johnson, a different suspect, was detained and charged with first-degree murder conspiracy in November 2022. The 26-year-old Jamarcus pleaded guilty in June 2023 after being charged as an accessory after the fact. The feud between Yo Gotti and Dolph reportedly began back in 2015 when Yo Gotti proposed that Dolph sign with his CMG label. However, Dolph decided to pave his own path and declined the offer, igniting a long-standing animosity between the two rappers. The conflict extended beyond mere social media jabs and diss tracks, escalating to the point of real-life violence, with shots being fired on multiple occasions, ultimately culminating in the tragic loss of Dolph's life. Even in the aftermath of Dolph's murder, the effects of this bitter feud continued to linger, casting a shadow that lasted well over a year. A tragic shooting unfolded in March 2023 at Privé, a soul food restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee, which has connections to Yo Gotti. The establishment was purchased by the rapper for his mother, Geraldine, who serves as the manager and chef. Privé became the scene of a violent incident that claimed the lives of 2 individuals and left 5 others injured. Upon the police's arrival at the scene, they found 2 male victims, with one of them tragically declared deceased on site. The second victim was hurriedly taken to a nearby hospital, yet he also succumbed to his injuries. 5 more individuals fell victim to the shooting, consisting of 4 males aged 37, 35, 31, and 30, along with 1 female aged 25. These additional victims were transported to hospitals by private vehicles, with authorities suspecting that the altercation originated inside the restaurant. According to the owner's lawyer, Arthur Horn, they were devastated by the tragedy. Privé has been operating for a decade, and this horrifying event is unprecedented for their establishment. Horn contradicted the police statement, claiming that the altercation actually occurred outside the restaurant. He explained that the incident unfolded in the parking lot and escalated into a shootout, contrary to any conflicting reports. And the unfortunate event took place at the end of the evening as the restaurant was closing. The choice made by a rapper to forge his own path in the music industry led to a remarkable legacy. But in the end, he couldn't escape the many toxic aspects of the game. Click the videos on your screen for more videos.
Was at 16:15 hours. We had officers in the area of 6385 Winchester, which is the Caroline Event Center. He was flagged down of a shooting of a male victim who was inside his vehicle. Officers pulled over to the scene. The victim was transported to the hospital, St. Francis Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. There was a second victim who also was transported to the hospital. He was subsequently airlifted to Regional 1, where he's in critical condition at this time. My condolences go out to the families on this incident. But we don't have, right now, we do have video that we're analyzing, but we don't have a clear suspect identified at this time. But we know that a weapon was used, a firearm was used in this incident.
Does that video show anything in terms of a car, a vehicle that was in this area?
We're still analyzing our video, but we don't have a clear suspect identified.
Will you be releasing videos to the public?
We're working on trying to develop suspect information, and as we get information, we will release what we have as it comes forward.
Can you tell us whether this is relative to Young Dolph, Big Jook, Yo Gotti? There's no.
This is preliminary, so we hadn't developed a connection to that at this time. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
You were hearing there was a repast or some sort of funeral procession going on over here at the time?
Yes, these individuals, the 2 individuals that were shot, were attending a repast at this location.
Last question.
How many suspects did you say that there were?
I never said how many, but we know at least one shooter that we believe at this time that there may be more involved in this.
And has family been notified?
We're in the process of notifying family and getting a clear identification on the victims at this time.
Can you tell us whether one of the victims is Yo Gotti's brother?
I can't confirm anything yet.
All right, thanks everybody.
Can you just say and spell your name one more time? Our mic wasn't on it.
So how did you get to be with Justin Johnson this day on November 17th, 2021?
We knew that, you know, they had heat on Dolph and them head or whatever, so.
Who had a hit on whose head?
Big Jook had a hit on Dolph's head or whatnot, so.
How do you know that Big Jook had a hit on Dolph's head?
Quit had told me about it, Quit, and, you know what I'm saying, then just.
How much money was it supposed to be?
$100,000 on Dolph's head.
And had you agreed to do this hit?
Yes, sir.
Had Justin agreed to do this hit?
Yes, sir.
We all going to do it together?
Yeah, they been on it, but yeah, we had been talking about it.
Okay. This was not something that just happened this day, but something that was in the process for weeks?
Yeah, weeks.
How did y'all hook up this day, if you remember?
He had pulled up to get me. He came and got me or whatever.
Where'd he get you from?
He got me from my father's house.
Where's your father's house?
Out of Lamar Sims.
Orange Mound area?
Yeah.
Had either you called him or he called you or anything like this?
He had called me the first time I missed the call. Then he called me back, I answered. He was telling me basically they were pulling up because we already knew what was going on.
When you say you already knew what was going on, you already knew that this is about?
Yeah, because we knew they were doing a turkey drive, so we was actually on our way to Westwood.
Had you and Justin talked about this particular day before?
Like, nah, not the specific day. Like, we just knew that it was turkey drive going every day that week.
Okay. You knew that, is it fair to say that you knew Dolph was involved in these turkey drives this week before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we didn't know we were going to catch him, but we knew he did his artists. You know, everybody had a hit on it. Everybody had a price on it.
From Jook?
Yeah, from Jook.
And that was going to be y'all's business this week?
Yeah, that was our business week.
When he arrived at the house, do you remember what he was driving?
White Mercedes Benz.
Had you seen that car before?
Nah, I ain't never saw that car.
Did you get in the car with him?
Yeah, I got in.
Was there anybody else in the car?
Nah, it was just me and Justin.
Were there any guns in the car?
Yeah, they was on the back seat in the bag.
Do you remember what kind of guns there were?
A Draco, handgun.
Okay. And Draco, some type of bigger semi-automatic weapon, is that right?
Yeah.
And then a handgun? Do you remember what you were wearing that day?
I had on some gray sweatpants, orange and white Jordan 1, and a blue Gap hoodie.
A blue Gap hoodie?
With a do-rag on.
With a do-rag on. Did y'all have gloves?
I had my own gloves.
Yo Gotti and Young Dolph have a lot in common, but they hate each other. Here's the Yo Gotti and Young Dolph beef explained. Declined deal. It all started in 2014 when Young Dolph was offered a record deal by Yo Gotti. Dolph declined the offer, saying he wanted to invest in himself instead. This caused some tension between the two and marked the start of their beef. After he declined the record label deal, Dolph touched on this in an interview with Sway in the Morning, which only added fuel to the fire. While this didn't confirm the start of the beef, it made things much more awkward between the two. Later on, Young Dolph would mention the fact that he believed this was the start of the beef between the two, but this was never confirmed by Gotti himself. Twitter diss. It was soon after this that Young Dolph fired up on Twitter, taking another shot at Yo Gotti. This time, he posted a tweet in which he seemed to be referencing Gotti when talking about a former fan who turned into his biggest hater. He didn't mention Gotti by name, but it was very obvious who the tweet was directed towards. Many critics realized this on Twitter and also realized that this would set off a chain of events that would quickly turn into beef. Why Dolph thought that Gotti had turned from his biggest fan into his biggest hater is still unknown today, but it's clear that this was the beginning of beef between the two. Beef escalation. After Twitter, Young Dolph decided to make his declaration of war official and released his album King of Memphis, a direct challenge to Yo Gotti's status as the King of Memphis. This was seen as a major slight by many in the rap community, as it seemed that Dolph was trying to take the throne from Gotti. The beef escalated after this, with fans on both sides getting involved and arguments flying back and forth between them. Despite this, Young Dolph began to downplay the beef between him and Gotti, citing that it was overstated and that Gotti was one of his earliest supporters. Maybe he had thought he'd gone too far, and if so, he would be spot on. Black Youngster. Black Youngster can be credited for taking the beef much further than verbal threats, as he was the one to start escalating things physically. On March 2nd, 2017, he posted a video on his Instagram account in which he threatened to smack the shit out of Young Dolph. Not only that, but Black posted another threat after this, showing up in Dolph's neighborhood with a few of his goons while armed with some heavy artillery. It's clear that Black Youngster was trying to intimidate Dolph and get him to back down, but it's unlikely that it had the desired effect. Still, Black Youngster was connected to Yo Gotti, as he was a signee of his label CMG, so it's very possible that Gotti was behind these physical threats. As for Yo Gotti's actual response, he said he would always advise a big brother or friend standpoint, but stayed away from the physical beef. After this, there were several more back and forth disses, but eventually Black Youngster would cease and squash the beef. Diss tracks.
That wasn't enough for young Dolph, and he quickly dropped a track against Gotti called Play With Your Bitch. In the track, Dolph made it very clear that there was no love lost between him and Gotti. He went on to throw some serious jabs below the belt, alluding to having relations with the mother of Gotti's child. While Yo Gotti responded more subtly on social media by boasting of his own accomplishments, it was never enough to outshine Dolph's diss track. It was also clear that Yo Gotti was trying to stay away from any physical confrontation, as he has never responded in kind with a diss track of his own. Despite this, young Dolph continued accusing him of sneak dissing Dolph in his songs. Yo Gotti responds. Finally, however, Yo Gotti had enough and decided to respond with a diss track of his own. Titled Don't Beef With Me, the record featured Moneybagg Yo and Black Youngsta and was released on February 11th, 2017. Despite the clear message it sent, Gotti never directly called out Young Dolph by name. It was considered a warning shot until Young Dolph was shot a while later. While this was never confirmed to be Yo Gotti's doing, he was named a person of interest in the case. And so while the beef has been simmering, it still runs strong.
Yeah, you see it. The war in hip hop. Memphis, Yo Gotti versus Young Dolph. You see it. You see how we broke it down, repackage it up. The key question at the end of the day is, will Yo Gotti be charged with the murder of Young Dolph? We will find out sooner than later, most definitely. Hernandez Govan holds the key to everything, and we most definitely going to be dropping some content about Hernandez Govan. Most definitely, we in the building with the War in Hip Hop series. S.L.R is the king of the world. Is the king of the War in Hip Hop series. You know what we do over here. We break it down, repackage it up, shipping out accordingly. This is the channel you want to come to for all your hip hop news, everything. What we do, we break it down. Show we in the building with it. We most definitely gonna drop that content and put it out there for the masses. That's what we do over here at S.L.R Media TV. And we most definitely got plenty more content of Memphis, and we most definitely gonna drop that Hernandez Govan content that's gonna lead into more questions of who put the hit out on Young Dolph, who put the hit out. It's a crazy game. If they say hip hop is the most dangerous job in the world, it continues to prove to be right. Will Yo Gotti be charged, or will they put this on Big Chuck? And we still want to know who took Big Chuck out. The case has not been solved yet, so we most definitely I'm gonna dive into that. I'm gonna have my team to dive into and see what we can find on Big Chuck, and we're gonna drop that Big Chuck content too. We in the Memphis, we in the building, we here in Memphis. You know we're gonna give you that content wherever we at. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. Most definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Continue to support the channel. Share the live, share the video. Let everybody know about S.L.R Media TV. And let's continue to build this channel to make it one of the top YouTube channels on YouTube. And make sure you hit that Cash App, support the channel. Hit the Cash App. Rest in peace to Young Dolph. Rest in peace to Big Chuck. The war in Memphis. We here. We gonna break this shit down. We gonna figure it out one way or another for sure. And most definitely, if we can get that content on Mode 3, the trailer Mode 3 with Yellow Beezy, we most definitely gonna get on that one too. We in here. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what it is, free. I'm out. Long live Dolph. Paper route. PRE. CMG, Memphis.